To create a Strava segment from a ride or a route you've never done, go into the upper right, click Create Route, and then this is where the fun begins. You can create a ride or route anywhere in the world with Strava's route feature. If it'll populate here, it's going to naturally come down to your where you live. But I mean, not to be too Boulder centric, I could easily go over to let's just say Mill Valley, one of my most favorite places in the world to ride. And, we could zoom in here and, we could create a route like around Mount Tam. We could go up to Point Reyes. We could do the Alpine Dam climb anyway. But for the purposes of this demo, let's go back to Colorado where I know what I'm talking about in terms of route creation. So we'll zoom back in and whoa, sometimes you lose where you're going. All right, this is back home. And then let's use like Left Hand Canyon, for example, because that's such an iconic climb and it just opens up all sorts of possibilities. So say you listen to this podcast and you're like gonna create let's say a 3-hour loop. Okay, so 3-hour loop, and let's not show the heat map. There is most popular, but let's just say you're going to start from the corner of Broadway and 28. That's where Amante is, and then oh man, oops, I think what is happening here is it's creating the route from Mill Valley all the way back to Boulder. This ought to be interesting. So if you're training for the Ram, and wow, look at this, 1,211 miles, 6,500 feet for all you Everesters, estimated moving time 81 hours, if anyone is into that. But let's use the best button on the internet, the undo button, and let's completely start from scratch. So, okay, Broadway and 28th, that's where the Amante coffee shop is. That's where a lot of the group rides originate. And say you don't want to ride north on 36 because it's dangerous. There's a lot of cars. So what can you do? You can... there's a couple of alternatives. Let's zoom in here. This is the res, this is gravel. Say you're like a pure roadie. Okay, so head up Lee Hill. This is where it helps to have some like just familiarity with the course. But so just let's use Old Stage as a warm up. So here you're going, boom, that's Old Stage. This is the intersection of Old Stage and Left Hand Canyon. And then say you're gonna, this is Left Hand Canyon proper. Don't turn up to Jamestown for the purposes of this route, but really you could. That's the beauty of this. You're creating your own route. So now we're on Left Hand Canyon. We're gonna go all the way up to Ward. Wabam. And then so you can already see we've done 18 miles. That's close to 4,000 feet of climbing. And say you want to do one of the most beautiful routes in Colorado this way. So now that you're on the peak to peak, and then you are going, let's center this. Let's come down. So this is a big, fast, super fast descent. And this, if you're adventurous, you could turn right, go, this is down Super James, but this is for the roadies. You're going to keep going down. I mean, you're hauling ass here. This is like 40, 50 miles an hour. This is so fun. Done this in the Haute Route, and I've raced on this peak to peak many times. This is an important fork here. So if you're in for an epic ride, go left here, and this will take you to Estes Park. That's going to... that's now you're talking a 5-hour ride, but say you're just creating a route or a ride from like into the 3-hour duration. So fork right here. I do think the Raymond General Store may be closed. I haven't been up there this winter. This is so beautiful. Now the descent is even shallower. You're along a creek with aspens, descent. I mean, you're going to descend all the way from my cursor here, all the way back to lions. Wabam, look at that. Okay, so now we have done 42 miles. And then here's a really good training segment. Now, you could easily go out east. You could have headed to Estes, but you're going to ride this for time. And so let's just, let's go right at lines, right on 36, and let's just jam it all the way back, okay? Bam. Oh, what is that? No. Okay, I see what happened. Okay, keep going here, and just all the way back. Right there on the intersection, and what you see here is we have a 55-mile segment, route planned. So let's go save. Let's call this Fast Cat Peak to Peak. Let's call this to Lions. We'll just call it that. So we'll make it public. This is roads, save to my routes. That's going to save to your routes. And now we are going to make it a route. Now, one thing, once you've made this route, go into your routes. This is not a segment yet. So what you have to do to make it a segment, you got to go ride the route. And so go ride the route. And then after you ride the route from your Strava file, you can make the segment, and you can make it from here all the way back to here. And then you get your leaderboard, then you can share it with your friends, and then you can start having some fun with your training. Okay.